candidate, or even the biggest candidate, where he put or even tried to jail all other opponents that he was tied with or even tied against. Now, what we're saying is that what we can see, we know very well that Tanzania is a country, there is a place where it was named Tanganyika, but before then we looking at a list of the presidents that have been in place from when Tanzania got independence, and we're starting from Julius Kabaranke Nyerere, and he was elected around 26th of April 1964 to 5th November 1985. From there we went to Ali Hassan Mwinyi, 5th November 1985 to 23rd November 1995. From there we transitioned to Benjamin William Mkapa. He was elected on 23rd November 1995 to 21st of December 2005. And from there we went to John Pombe. We never knew that he was also called John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, 5th of November 2015 until 17th March 2021. Then from there, we moved to who took over after the untimely death of John Pombe Magufuli. Who took over was Samia Suluhu Hassan from 19th March 2021 to present. And I just wanted to give a small history of Samia Suluhu Hassan, and Samia Suluhu Hassan was born on 27th January 1960 in Zanzibar. Samia Suluhu Hassan attended several schools in Zanzibar and Pemba, e.g. Chakwa Primary, Ziwani Primary, and Maonda Primary, then secondary school at Ngambo Lumumba Secondary in Unguja. From there, she pursued further education, a postgraduate diploma in economics from the University of Manchester, UK in 1994, and a master's in community economic development via joint program between the Open University of Tanzania and the Southern New Hampshire University, USA in 2005. She worked in various roles, including civil services in Zanzibar, and at one time for the food program, this is WFP project in Zanzibar in the early 1990s. Her political career in 2000, she was nominated to a special seat in the Zanzibar House of Representatives. In 2005, she became the Minister for Tourism, Trade, Investment in Zanzibar. In 2010, she was elected Member of Parliament for the Makunduchi constituency, and this was on the mainland. And in November 2015, the ruling party, and this is Chama cha Mapinduzi, this is CCM, nominated her as the running mate of John Magufuli. She became Vice President on 5th November 2015, the first woman in that office. And after the unexpected death of President Magufuli on 17th March 2021, Samia Suluhu Hassan was sworn in as president on 19th March 2021, becoming the first woman president of Tanzania and the first president born in Zanzibar. As president, she signaled changes, including reversing some of her predecessors' more controversial stances, e.g. COVID-19 responses on media freedom, on allowing schools or pregnant girls to return to school. Then our priorities have included political reform, task force and democracy, relaxation of restrictions on rallies, media and economic infrastructure. Then what we're looking at the recent development in Tanzania concerning Suluhu Hassan is that our government's approach has also drawn criticism on issues of political freedoms, human rights and handling of opposition. Key facts include, I just want to brief this, is that born on January 1960s, Zanzibar Vice President from 2015 to 2021, President from 19 March 2021 up to date, and she's the first President of Tanzania, first Zanzibari born President. Education, Diploma in Economics, and this is Manchester, Masters in Community Economic Development. The political party is Chama cha Mapinduzi, and this is CCM. And before we switch to our bulletin tonight, I just want to brief you on some of the key political opponents that we are yoked together with Samia Suluhu. We have Tundu Lissu, and his party is Chadema. We have Luhaga Mpina, ACT Wazalendo. We have Anna Mugwira, Independent, and this is just a bit of minor opposition. We have the fourth one, Queen Sedinga, NCCR, Magenzi, and we have Eshim Rungwe, and this is a party by the name Chauma. And we're looking at, as I said, as we started, that election took place on 29th October 2025, whereby it's like we've seen people jokingly and humorously talking of solo race, whereby it's like Suluhu has got several opponents, political opponents, for that matter, and for these elections that just took place some few days ago. But we're looking at a place where he tried to jail and try to persecute the political opponents. In example is Tundu Lissu of the Chadema party, whereby he was jailed for some good time. The charges were treason, whereby we've not looked at the basics or even the background of the issue at the same time. But we're looking at whereby today it was reported that Suluhu Hassan has clinched or even has won with a very big margin, whereby he clinched 276 out of 272 positions in Tanzania, or even in the parliament. But we're looking at some things whereby we're looking at the numbers or even the maths being so big, whereby we are looking, yes, it's very clear, but or even some people may not know the population of Tanzania. It's about 60 million people in population, which is a bit bigger in a big percentage concerning or even comparing with our country, Kenya. But we're looking at, before even 28th, this was the eve of elections. We're looking at a place where citizens from Tanzania and the young generation promising that the elections that were to take place on 29th, maybe if at all it takes place, it was not to take place fully pledged. What we saw is that from the morning where we saw polling stations were set ready from as early as 6 a.m. But we not see this take place as it was, we believed, or even as normal elections could take place. What we saw is that the agencies came out in big numbers for demonstrations, decrying that what we call is like they are pressed more a bit, and it's like they don't want, not it's like, but they don't want to see Samia Suluhu as the president. But what we're looking at now and currently is that they didn't even want to be ashamed or even be scared of pronouncing. This is INEC, the electoral body from Tanzania, did not fear or even get shame of trying to announce Samia Suluhu of the disputed elections, that she is the only winner of the elections. Briefly, we've got widespread protests erupted in Dar es Salaam, Arusha, and Zanzibar over opposition exclusion and alleged irregularities, and the government declared a curfew and imposed internet restrictions nationwide. Security forces were deployed, resulting in arrests and reports of casualties in some regions. And the Electoral Commission announced Samia Suluhu's decisive lead. Opposition parties rejected the results as neither free nor fair. The last one is low voter turnout and international concern marked the aftermath, with several rights groups calling for independent investigations. And what I've just said lastly is that the results are so much disputed, and what we're saying is that we don't see any calm coming in Tanzania very soon, because they're not feeling very well, or even they don't feel comfortable with what is happening in Tanzania. But when it comes to Africa, as we talk, we're looking at Africa. We saw Madagascar, we saw Cameroon, we saw Kenya in one time, and now we are in Tanzania, where things are looking like we have a lot of greed and lust for power and politics, which we expect that we need to change people, we need to change positions, we need to change political positions. And as Nyerere has been saying, that we've got political parties, but we've got no leaders. That's just a bit of what we had prepared for you from Tanzania here in Kenya. Thank you. This is EBN Premier Edition again. My name is Jeffrey Kimaiyu Somba. What I'm doing now is bulletin that we prepared for you. Thank you for watching. Our social media platforms always remain EBN TV Kenya or across. And our SMS line is 23059. Sawa. Share bwana. And getting into premeditation, this EBN premeditation this evening, the first day of November 2025, is that President Suluhu has been declared the winner of Tanzania's presidential election, securing another term in office after several days of unrest in the country. According to the National Electoral Commission, Suluhu garnered 97.6% of the votes cast in the election held on Wednesday. However, international observers have expressed concern over the lack of transparency in the electoral process and the violence that led to the deaths of hundreds of people and injuries to many others. Let's have a watch.
Ndugu Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan wa Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, kwa mujibu wa ibara ya 38 ndogo ya kwanza na 41 ndogo ya 6 ya Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania ya mwaka 1977 na kifungu cha 45 kidogo cha 10 cha sheria ya uchaguzi wa rais, wa bunge na madiwani, sheria namba 1 ya mwaka 2024, umechaguliwa kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania katika uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2025 uliofanyika tarehe 29 mwezi Oktoba mwaka 2025. Naomba sasa nikukabidhi hati ya kuchaguliwa kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
And President William Ruto has pledged to work closely with leaders and residents of the Western Kenya region to improve people's lives and advance development projects. Speaking during a meeting with leaders from the Western region in Kakamega County, President Ruto said his government will focus on improving infrastructure, education, agriculture, and employment opportunities in the counties of Kakamega, Bungoma, Busia, and Vihiga. He emphasized the need to ensure that Western Kenya develops at the same pace as other regions of the country, promising close cooperation between the national government and county governments to achieve shared development goals.
Vile kazi zile zingine zote ambazo zinaendelea sehemu hii, mimi nimesema nitashirikiana na nyinyi. Tubadilishe Kakamega wakati tunabadilisha Kenya. Tumekubaliana jameni? Mnasema tushirikiane? Na sio Kakamega peke yake. Hivyo nimesema hata kule Bungoma tunajenga hospitali kubwa na watu wa Africa Development Bank. Hapa Vihiga tuko na mipango yake. Jana nilikuwa Busia, tumekubaliana na watu wa Busia mambo ya maendeleo ya Busia. Kwa sababu we want to make sure that Western Kenya is as good as the rest of the Republic of Kenya. Ni mnanielewa?
And to other stories, DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua has strongly criticized President William Ruto for disrespecting the people of Central Region, accusing him of branding them a jealous community despite their unwavering support during his election. Gachagua revealed that Ruto, through his personal assistant, disparaged the Central Kenya community, an act he described as uncalled for and unjustified. He emphasized that it is inconceivable for a community to be jealous of the Ruto administration, considering they were the ones who overwhelmingly voted him into office. He also accused the president of deliberately reversing laws against illicit brews, resulting in the resurgence of illicit alcohol in the region.
Githinji, tulikuchagua, tulikupenda, tukakupatia kura zetu zote, ukakuwa mfalme. Ukafika pahali ukatusaliti, ukatudanganya, ukageuka sisi, ukaangaisha biashara zetu, ukafuta watoto wetu kazi, ukaharibu kila kitu, ukaharibu masomo, ukaharibu matibabu. Sisi tukawachana na wewe. Sasa umefika pahali unatuma ile mtu yako ya standard 3 anatukana sisi, anatukana jamii yetu akisema sisi ni roho chafu. Alikuwa pale akasema Uhuru Kenyatta ni roho chafu, akasema Rigathi Gachagua ni roho chafu, akasema Martha Karua ni roho chafu, akasema Justin Muturi ni roho chafu, akasema Linturi ni roho chafu. Ni matusi si matusi? Ni madharau si madharau? Wewe Githinji ujue sisi sio roho chafu, wewe ndio umechafua roho zetu. Na ndio utajua roho zetu zimechafuka mwezi ya 8 2027. Utajua roho zetu zimechafuka. Mimi huzuni yangu ni wale ambaye watu wanatoka hapa mlimani wanatembea na Githinji, akitukana sisi kama jamii, akituita wakabila, akitukosea heshima, akisema sisi ni roho chafu. Na nyinyi wale mmetoka hapa mlichaguliwa na watu ya Murang'a, na watu ya Kiambu, na watu ya Nyeri, na watu ya Kirinyaga, watu ya Nyandarua, watu ya Embu, watu ya Meru, munapigia Githinji makofi kwa kutukana sisi kama jamii. Andũ aitũ nĩ tũkũmenwo tũcoke twĩmene. No nginya nyũmba ĩno itũ tũmĩcararie gĩtĩo, tondũ nĩguo kwagĩrĩire. Nilipokuwa ofisi nilipigana na pombe haramu, kweli ama uongo? Imerudi haijarudi? Huyu Githinji alisema pombe irudi hapa iue watoto wetu, kwa sababu anatuchukia kama jamii. Na sisi ndio tulimchagua. Ile kisu anatumia kuua sisi na kuangaisha sisi, sisi wenyewe ndio tulimpatia. Na ndio tuko na uchungu sana ya kwamba sisi tulikufanya rais, na ile panga tulikupatia ya kuongoza unaitumia.
And on a sad note, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has confirmed that 15 people have died and more than 30 others are missing following a landslide in East Marakwet, Elgeyo County. The disaster occurred on Friday night after heavy rains triggered soil movement in the hilly villages of the area. Murkomen said the government has evacuated residents living in high-risk zones to safer locations. The CS visited the affected ones of Botut, Borot, Endo, and Sambir, where rescue teams continue with the operations despite challenges caused by thick mud and damaged terrain.
Today we came here to respond to this disaster that has occurred in the Marakwet East. We have here 3 wards that have been affected. That is Mbobut and Bolot ward, Endo ward, and Sambrir ward. We have been able to evacuate about 25 injured victims of this disaster, but we still also have more than 30 people who are missing. We can account for about 15 persons who have already died. And so everything is being done here to make sure that this situation is handled. We have proper coordination in terms of on the ground here, led by the Deputy County Commissioner here and the various agencies. I want to appreciate the multi-agency approach, the military, the police, and also the Ngao officers who are here. The county government is heavily involved, and the governor is here himself, and also the Red Cross and other parties.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has defended the involvement of ministers in political activities, saying they are constitutionally allowed to do so. Speaking in Emali, Makueni County, during the launch of a mental health treatment center, Ruku said such political engagement does not interfere with the delivery of government services to citizens. He criticized his detractors saying they lack proper understanding and are stuck in outdated political thinking. Ruku urged all leaders to work together for development rather than fueling political divisions, emphasizing that President William Ruto's government is committed to ensuring efficient service delivery at all levels.
I want them to go and read the Conflict of Interest Act, Section 25 of the Conflict of Interest Act 2025. Mawaziri katika serikali kuu na mawaziri katika serikali ya kaunti wanaruhusiwa na sheria kufanya siasa. Kwa hivyo mtu asije kusimama. Niliona wengine wameenda kotini ati kusema sisi mawaziri wa taifa ya Kenya tunafanya siasa. Tunafanya siasa kisheria. Tumesoma sheria vizuri. Na mimi msomi. Mimi nimesoma sawa sawa, naelewa vizuri. Nimekuwa shule miaka mingi na naelewa vile sheria ya Kenya inasema. Kwa sasa lazima tushikilie serikali yetu. Ndio wakora ambao wanataka kuleta fitina katika wananchi wa Kenya. Tuwaambie jameni, serikali ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto sio serikali ya fitina, sio serikali ya maneno tupu, ni serikali ya maendeleo.
And matters Education Cabinet Secretary Migozo Gamba has urged university staff unions to accept the current government proposals and suspend their ongoing strike. Ogamba stated that the government has initiated dialogues with the university workers unions to reach long-term solutions to the labor dispute. He also encouraged students to remain calm while the government works to resolve the impasse that has disrupted academic activities in public universities.
To work with all the university staff unions to address the grievances and concerns that have been raised by their members. We note the union's willingness to engage in good faith, constructive and structured discussions and negotiations to resolve the outstanding issues arising out of the 2017-2021 CBA. I encourage the unions and their members to accept the government's offer to settle those outstanding issues and call off the strike. In the meantime, I call upon the university staff and students to remain calm as we work with all the stakeholders to address the current industrial disputes. Ladies and gentlemen, we salute the parents, the guardians, and the families of these graduates.
Members of ODM, led by former Makadara MP Ruben Dolo, have urged that the party's 20th anniversary celebrations in Mombasa be postponed. They argue that the timing is inappropriate given the upcoming by-election and the ongoing mourning period of the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The group has called on Ruth Odinga, the young sister of the late Raila Odinga, to intervene and safeguard the party's success.
Why should they go while the law doesn't allow, even you, catchery? It is not good. So let them not think about their money. As I've said, they are in a hurry because ODM has been given money by William. That's what they want to do, to use that money to buy those merchants from China or from other places for them to make money. They even don't think about what Raila was thinking about this country. They don't. Yeah? Yeah. So wakuwe na huruma kwa familia ya Raila. We are still mourning. It's not about just celebration. Even if I ask you now, we are celebrating what?
Na wale ambao wanafanya mchezo kwa sababu wanataka kufaidika na pesa za ODM kwa kufanya sherehe ambaye wanafanya na hawajajumulisha kila mtu katika nchi, itakuwa vibaya sana. ODM is a national party. And I believe today, among the parties in Kenya, it's only ODM that is a national party with members all over the country.
Na Joshua mwenye ameingia pale ni Oburu Odinga. Musipeleke Oburu mbio, hii chama wacha nikwambie, inaweza produce president. Hata tunaweza usema any other person to come in and become a presidential candidate. Lakini ile mbio yenye watu wako na tamaa.
Still on the same story, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has cautioned party officials against using the phrase 2 terms during party campaigns ahead of the by-election scheduled for November 27, 2025. Sifuna criticized the remark, which is associated with supporters of President William Ruto's bid for re-election, saying it undermines party unity. And according to the senator, ODM is committed to maintaining cohesion while its position regarding the 2027 general election is yet to be determined. His statement comes after he denied any re-election collaboration between ODM and UDA aimed at presenting a united front in the upcoming by-election.
Wengine wanatuambia ati by-elections za November 2027 party leader ati kuna candidates wa broad-based. Broad-based si chama. Na kama si chama haina candidates. Unajua nyinyi mmefanya kazi ya kura hapa. Kuna wamama wakiingia kwenye polling station kama hawajui jina ya candidate, wanasema mimi nataka ule wa ODM. Ukweli ama uongo? Kuna wale ambao hawajui hata candidate na chama, wanasema ile symbol ya baba, ile chungwa. Mimi nataka ule wa chungwa. So mniambie kala ya broad base ni gani? Na symbol ya broad base ni gani? Mtu akitoka kule mashinani aseme anataka mtu wa broad base, unampeleka wapi? Hakuna candidate wa broad base. Broad base is not a party. It is not a party. It does not exist anywhere. So what we want us to understand, leaders should not bring confusion to voters unless wanataka hawa candidates wetu waanguke kura. Unless umetumwa uangushe watu kura. Pale magarini tukiingia, tunaingia kama wana ODM, wanachungwa. Rangi zetu zinajulikana, sera zetu zinajulikana, nembo zetu zinajulikana.
And from Nairobi to Ukambani, leaders from the Ukambani region have condemned President William Ruto over comments he made in Western Kenya, saying his words appeared to mock the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi denounced the remarks as disrespectful and inappropriate coming from a national leader. He also accused President Ruto of hypocrisy and failing to fulfill development promises made to citizens. Mwangangi warned that Kenyans will hold the president accountable for his performance and the pledges he made during the 2027 general election campaign.
Kwa fursa hii ni muombe na nimuulize Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na kiongozi wa UDA na Kenya Kwanza watueleze nini hii haswa. Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya anajua ambao wananchi wa Kenya hawajui, ama UDA inajua ambao wa Kenya hawajui, kwa sababu ameenda katika uliokuwa mkoa wa Magharibi na akasema ya kwamba kulikuwa na watu walikuwa wanasumbua yeye, walikuwa wanaletea yeye kisirani, ambao walikuwa wanafanya maandamano wakibeba sufuria, wakiwekwa sufuria kwa kichwa. Na tunajua aliye na saa hii wako wameenda. Tunataka tujue ni kina nani na anamaanisha nini, kwa sababu tunajua aliye kama Azimio aliyetuongoza kwa maandamano alikuwa mwenda zake Raila Odinga, ambaye alikuwa kiongozi wetu. Sasa rais anamaanisha nini? Kwa sababu tulikuwa tunaona ni kama alikuwa anaomboleza, lakini kutokana na haya matamshi yake inaonyesha ni kama ni kusherekea. And this statement is worse a million times than what His Excellency Governor of Nyeri.
In other stories, lawyers, doctors, accountants, and engineers make up a significant portion of over 300,000 ELB loan defaulters as the Higher Education Loans Board ELB seeks legal authority to freeze defaulters' accounts. And according to ELB Managing Director Geoffrey Munari, more than 120,000 defaulters have already been listed in the loan information system to ensure compliance with repayment obligations. Universities are now recommending a joint reporting system that will track students from the start to their studies until graduation.
Anywhere world over, you don't joke with scholarships. And therefore, unless specifically on medical grounds, if you fail and you resit your exams, you are on your own. Why? And this is one of the things that the student-centered funded model is actually sorting out, because we don't follow people in a group. we are following you as a student. So if you are Edwin Wanyonyi Index, whatever you are in this course, we expect you to finish in 4 years.
We have 380,530 defaulters. And how much are they holding? 42 billion. If we had this 42 billion today, it would be a very good story because we will not be talking about any deficit anyway. Engineers and lawyers are the worst. We are talking about 22,000 engineers to date have not paid their loans, out of about 30,000. And lawyers from the outstanding, we have financed about 26,000 lawyers, and 18,000 have not paid their loans. So we are looking at a space where the cream of the society are not supporting this loan repayment.
Kenya has been identified as one of the most vulnerable African countries to cyber attacks due to a shortage of cybersecurity experts. The warning was issued during the ISACA conference on government law enforcement monitoring held in Naivasha, where the organization's Vice President John Kisaka urged the government to train unemployed youth in cybersecurity and data protection. ISACA also cautioned that the use of artificial intelligence has contributed to a rise in cybercrime threats targeting local institutions.
Today we have a deficit, and we're also facing the problem that many African professionals in this space are actually looking for greener pastures in the West, where there is more advanced markets and more opportunities for themselves, but that leaves us with a deficit of cybersecurity professionals in this part of the world. In Africa, we have a very big youth, bulge. So our population is mainly the youth, and so at ISACA we have looked at how we can empower this youth, not just in universities, but in also other technical and vocational education and training colleges.
The risks that technology bring, the opportunities they bring are great, but they also come with some risks that as a society we need to respond to, we need to deal with. So a lot of what was initially private, a lot of people used to keep in the olden days diaries that you couldn't read. They used to keep diaries that were private. These days they post things, and if you don't like them.
And from Siaya County, the Siaya County government has launched a door-to-door campaign to distribute medication for bilharzia in the most affected areas. Health officials stated that the week-long exercise targets residents in high-prevalence zones such as West Yimbo and Bondo, where bilharzia cases have reached 68%. Dr. Charles warned about the serious consequences of untreated bilharzia and urged residents to use the free drugs provided as part of efforts to completely eradicate the disease.
Granular mapping, and we found out some areas which have got high prevalence. An example is West Yimbo, where the prevalence of schistosomiasis, bilharzia, is 68.4%. So from next week, we will be moving from door to door, giving drugs. Our main message to the community is that the drug that we will give through community health providers are safe, and we urge everybody to take the drugs so that we can eliminate these diseases. There's soil transmitted ailments and bilharzia. Actually, if not treated on time, then it will have a lot of casualties because it affects the liver and also the spleen, which are very vital for the function of the body.
And economic prospects for residents of Changamwe, Mombasa County are expected to improve following the launch of BF Suma's new office in the area. Speaking after leading a motivation meeting attended by about 70 residents, the organization's leader, John Manda, said BF Suma already has over 500 members and aims to increase membership to 5,000 in Changamwe. Manda encouraged youth and job seekers to join, highlighting benefits such as access to medicines and economic opportunities. Faith KK, a BF Suma member, shared the personal advantages she has gained from joining. The organization operates a special business model that promotes economic empowerment regardless of education level.
Alika
watu ambao wanataka kutafuta kazi. Badala ya kutafuta kazi, tutakuonyesha kitu ya kufanya ambao itakuwa badala ya kazi. Wale ambao ni wagonjwa, magonjwa tofauti ambao ni sugu, haiponi hata kwa mahospitali, tuko na suluhisho. Wale ambao kuna vitu za lazima za kutunza kama kansa, therapy tofauti ambao mnaambiwa na madaktari, tutasaidia muweze kuishi maisha ambao Mungu amewapa kuishi.
Kuingia BF Suma. Nimeingia BF Suma kipindi cha miaka 2 na miezi 6 sasa. So hiyo ni miaka 2 na nusu yapata. Na furaha ile kubwa nimeona kwa BF Suma. Kwanza mimi nikiingia BF Suma nilikuwa na tatizo la shinikizo la damu. Nimekaa miaka 2 na nusu sijaongezewa damu. Number 2, hata weight yangu nilikuwa underweight, nilikuwa na like 40 kgs. Saa hii through using BF Suma products nimekuwa na 65 kgs and I'm maintaining that through BF Suma.
And that story from BF Suma brings EBN Weekend Edition to an end. But before we go, I need to recognize just very few people, then we call it an evening. We've Dina Mania, good evening, JKS following. We've Calvin watching live, Simon Odek watching from Umoja. We've Davis Kiamba watching and following you, Mr. JKS. And presenter Rose Bula watching from Kasarani. Let me just recognize a few. I'll be doing so every day so that we keep in touch with our audience and viewers. This is EBN Weekend Edition. My name is Jeffrey Kimaiyu Somba, and good night. But we wish you a happy new month, the first day of November 2025. May God bless you.